What if one of the oldest surviving manuscripts in history described a journey beyond the world we know, a journey through 7 mysterious celestial realms, each revealing a different part of the universe as people imagined it nearly 2,000 years ago? Unlike many famous legends, this story comes from an ancient manuscript that has survived for centuries, preserved in handwritten copies and studied by historians around the world. Today, it is known as the Second Book of Enoch, sometimes called the Slavonic Book of Enoch. Although it was never included in the biblical canon of most Christian traditions, it remains one of the most fascinating examples of ancient religious literature ever discovered. The story begins with a man named Enoch, one of the most mysterious figures mentioned in the book of Genesis. Surprisingly, the Bible says almost nothing about him. It simply states that Enoch walked faithfully with God, and then he was no more because God took him away. Just a few words, but those words inspired generations of writers to imagine what might have happened next. Who was Enoch? Why was he chosen? Where did he go? These questions became the foundation for one of the most remarkable journeys ever described in ancient literature. According to the manuscript, Enoch's ordinary life changed forever when 2 brilliant heavenly messengers suddenly appeared before him. Their appearance was unlike anything he had ever seen. Their faces shone with intense light, their clothing appeared brighter than fresh snow, and their presence filled the room with overwhelming power. They told Enoch that his time on earth had come to an end, and that he had been chosen to witness mysteries hidden from ordinary people. Without hesitation, he followed them, leaving behind the familiar world and beginning a journey unlike any other. As they rose higher, the earth slowly disappeared beneath them. Mountains became tiny shadows, rivers turned into thin silver lines, and the entire world seemed small compared to the vastness surrounding it. For the first time, Enoch realized that the universe was far greater than anyone on earth could possibly imagine. Every step upward revealed another layer of creation, another part of a cosmic order that ancient people believed was carefully arranged and maintained. The first heavenly realm appeared before him as a place where the forces of nature were organized. Here, according to the manuscript, celestial beings watched over clouds, rain, snow, winds, and changing seasons. To modern readers, this description may sound symbolic, but for people living nearly 2,000 years ago, it represented an attempt to explain how the natural world functioned. Nothing happened by accident. Every storm, every sunrise, and every snowfall followed an invisible order established long before humanity existed. Enoch continued his ascent, leaving the first realm behind. As he entered the second, the atmosphere changed completely. The light became dimmer, and silence replaced the peaceful harmony of the previous realm. Here, he encountered powerful beings who had lost their former place. Once they had belonged among the heavenly hosts, but now they remained separated, waiting for a future judgment described by the ancient author. Their appearance reflected regret rather than anger, creating one of the most dramatic moments in the entire manuscript. Instead of portraying monsters, the text describes figures who serve as a warning about pride, responsibility, and the consequences of abandoning one's purpose. For centuries, historians have debated the meaning of this passage. Some believe it reflects traditions that were already circulating in ancient Jewish communities, long before many later religious texts were written. Others see it as symbolic literature, using powerful imagery to teach moral lessons rather than describe literal events. Whatever its original purpose may have been, the scene has fascinated readers for generations because it combines mystery, emotion, and the timeless question of how choices shape destiny. Leaving the second realm behind, Enoch continued climbing toward the next level of his extraordinary journey. According to the manuscript, what awaited him there would become one of the most beautiful and at the same time one of the most mysterious visions in the entire ancient world. As Enoch entered the third heavenly realm, the atmosphere changed once again. The silence of the previous level gave way to a place unlike anything he had ever imagined. Before him stretched a landscape filled with brilliant light, flowing rivers, towering trees, and gardens that seemed untouched by time. Everything appeared perfectly balanced, peaceful, and alive. According to the ancient manuscript, This was the dwelling place prepared for the righteous. At the center of this extraordinary realm stood the tree of life, described as more magnificent than any tree found on earth. Its branches reached toward the heavens, while its roots seemed to extend beyond human understanding. Crystal-clear rivers flowed through the garden, nourishing every living thing and creating an image of perfect harmony. Yet the manuscript presents another surprising detail. Not far from this place of beauty existed another region, one completely different in appearance. Here the light faded, and the peaceful landscape gave way to darkness and isolation. According to the author, this was the place where those who had chosen evil faced the consequences of their actions. Rather than focusing on frightening descriptions, the text emphasizes the contrast between two different paths, one leading toward harmony and the other toward separation. This contrast became one of the central themes of the entire journey, reminding readers that every decision carries lasting consequences. For historians, this section is particularly fascinating because it reflects ideas that appear in several ancient traditions. Instead of describing the afterlife in simple terms, the manuscript presents a structured universe where every realm has a specific purpose. Modern scholars generally view these descriptions as symbolic representations of moral and spiritual concepts rather than literal maps of the cosmos. Nevertheless, they offer an extraordinary glimpse into how ancient cultures understood justice, order, and the relationship between humanity and the universe. Leaving the third realm behind, Enoch continued his ascent. The fourth heavenly realm revealed something completely unexpected. Here he witnessed the movement of the sun, the moon, and the countless stars that filled the sky. Ancient celestial beings were described as carefully maintaining the perfect order of the heavens, ensuring that every star followed its appointed path and every season arrived exactly when it should. To people living thousands of years ago, the night sky was one of the greatest mysteries imaginable. Without telescopes or modern science, they looked upward and searched for meaning in the movements of the stars. The manuscript reflects this ancient desire to understand the universe by presenting the heavens as a place governed by perfect order rather than random chance. The journey continued into the fifth heavenly realm. Here, Enoch encountered another group of celestial beings, unlike those he had seen before. They were neither celebrating nor mourning completely. Instead, they carried an expression of quiet reflection, remembering events that had changed the heavenly world long before humanity existed. Their presence reminded Enoch that every action, whether made on earth or beyond it, leaves an enduring mark upon history. Even within the celestial realms, memory remained an important part of existence. Throughout this part of the journey, the manuscript repeatedly returns to one central idea: the universe is not chaotic. Everything has a place, a purpose, and an order. From the smallest changes in nature to the movement of distant stars, every element belongs to a greater design. Whether interpreted as theology, philosophy, or ancient symbolism, this vision of a carefully ordered universe has fascinated readers for centuries. It offers a remarkable window into how ancient civilizations attempted to answer some of humanity's oldest questions. Why does the universe exist? Who governs it? And what place does mankind hold within its immense and mysterious structure? But the greatest revelations still lay ahead. Beyond the fifth realm, Enoch would soon enter a place where, according to the ancient manuscript, the very order of history itself was watched over by powerful celestial beings. It was a realm unlike any he had seen before, bringing him ever closer to the final destination of his extraordinary journey. As Enoch ascended into the sixth heavenly realm, the scale of everything around him became almost impossible to comprehend. The manuscript describes this place as the center of cosmic order, where powerful celestial beings watched over the balance of the universe. They were entrusted with responsibilities far beyond the natural world. According to the text, they observed kingdoms rising and falling, the passing of generations, the changing of seasons, and the unfolding of history itself. Every event, no matter how large or small, formed part of a design that extended far beyond human understanding. To modern readers, these descriptions may sound poetic, but they reveal something important about the people who wrote this manuscript. Thousands of years ago, they believed that history itself was not random. Wars, discoveries, disasters, and the rise of civilizations were all connected to a greater order. This belief gave meaning to events that otherwise seemed impossible to explain. Instead of seeing chaos, they imagined a universe guided by purpose and structure. Historians believe this reflects one of humanity's oldest attempts to answer a question that still exists today. Is everything determined by chance, or is there a hidden pattern behind the events of history? The Second Book of Enoch never gives a simple answer. Instead, it presents a symbolic vision of a universe where every part is connected to something much greater than itself. As the journey continued, the atmosphere became brighter with every step. The manuscript explains that ordinary language could no longer describe what Enoch was witnessing. The light surrounding him grew stronger until it seemed to exist everywhere at once. The air itself appeared alive, filled with voices that could not be understood, yet somehow carried perfect harmony. The closer he came to the highest realm, the more impossible it became to compare anything he saw with the world below. Finally, after passing through every lower realm, Enoch arrived at the seventh heaven. Ancient writers describe this as the highest and most sacred level of existence. Here stood the heavenly throne, surrounded by countless celestial beings. The manuscript speaks of overwhelming brilliance, describing a light so intense that no earthly comparison could capture its appearance. Everything reflected perfect order, complete peace, and absolute majesty. The author makes it clear that human language is insufficient to explain what Enoch experienced in this place. Instead of focusing on physical details, the text emphasizes the feeling of standing before the ultimate source of wisdom and creation. According to the manuscript, Enoch was shown visions concerning the beginning of the universe, the creation of humanity, and the future of the world. These revelations were presented not as ordinary knowledge, but as mysteries beyond human understanding, entrusted to Enoch alone. Before his journey came to an end, Enoch received one final instruction. He was told to remember everything he had witnessed and to write it down after returning to the world of men. Future generations, the manuscript says, would preserve these writings so that the memory of the journey would never disappear. Whether this story is understood as symbolic literature, religious tradition, or historical mythology, this moment became the foundation of one of the most remarkable texts to survive from the ancient world. For centuries, scribes carefully copied these manuscripts by hand, ensuring that the story continued to exist long after its original author had disappeared into history. Each new copy carried the same extraordinary journey, inspiring readers to imagine what lay beyond the visible world and reminding them that humanity has always searched for answers to the greatest mysteries of existence. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the story is not what Enoch saw during his journey. The greatest mystery is why this remarkable manuscript survived at all, while so many other ancient texts vanished forever. That question continues to intrigue historians even today. Today, the Second Book of Enoch is regarded by historians as one of the most intriguing examples of ancient religious literature. Although it was never accepted into the biblical canon by most Christian traditions, its historical value is undeniable. The manuscript provides a rare glimpse into how people living nearly 2,000 years ago imagined the universe, the heavens, and humanity's place within creation. Rather than reading it as a scientific description of the cosmos, scholars view it as a reflection of the beliefs, hopes, and philosophical questions that shaped an entire civilization. One of the most remarkable aspects of this manuscript is the way it combines history, symbolism, and imagination. Ancient writers often expressed complex ideas through stories filled with vivid imagery. The 7 heavenly realms described in the text may represent far more than physical locations. Many researchers believe they symbolize stages of spiritual understanding, the search for wisdom, or humanity's desire to move closer to ultimate truth. This symbolic interpretation has become increasingly popular among modern historians and theologians, who see the manuscript as an extraordinary literary achievement rather than a literal map of the universe. The survival of the Second Book of Enoch is itself something of a mystery. Countless ancient writings disappeared forever through wars, fires, and the passage of time. Entire libraries vanished, leaving behind only fragments of civilizations that once flourished. Yet somehow this remarkable text survived through handwritten copies, preserved for centuries by dedicated scribes. Every page copied by hand carried the responsibility of preserving knowledge for future generations. Without those unknown individuals, the story of Enoch's journey might have disappeared forever. Today, the manuscript continues to inspire researchers across many different fields. Historians study it to better understand the beliefs of ancient societies. Linguists examine the language preserved within its surviving copies. Theologians compare its ideas with other early religious traditions. Even artists, filmmakers, and writers continue to draw inspiration from its extraordinary imagery. Few ancient works have maintained such lasting influence while remaining relatively unknown to the general public. Perhaps this is what makes the Second Book of Enoch so fascinating. It exists at the crossroads of history, mythology, philosophy, and religion. It asks questions that humanity still struggles to answer today. What lies beyond the world we can see? Is the universe guided by purpose or chance? Can ancient stories contain timeless wisdom, even if they are understood symbolically? These questions remain just as compelling now as they were thousands of years ago. Whether Enoch's journey is viewed as a vision, an allegory, or an imaginative masterpiece of ancient literature, its message continues to resonate across the centuries. The manuscript reminds us that every civilization has searched for meaning beyond the visible world. Long before telescopes explored distant galaxies or scientists mapped the cosmos, people looked toward the heavens and imagined realms filled with mystery, order, and endless possibility. Their answers were different from ours, but their curiosity was exactly the same. The story of the seven heavens remains one of the most extraordinary journeys ever described in ancient literature. It has survived empires, wars, and the passing of nearly 2,000 years, continuing to inspire new generations of readers who seek to understand the beliefs of the ancient world. Whether you approach it as history, symbolism, or one of humanity's greatest surviving legends, the Second Book of Enoch remains a remarkable window into the imagination of our ancestors. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all. Not whether the seven heavens truly exist, but why stories like this continue to captivate us after so many centuries. Maybe the answer lies not only within the pages of this ancient manuscript, but within our own desire to explore the unknown. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's most mysterious books, don't forget to subscribe for more documentaries about forgotten manuscripts, lost civilizations, ancient mysteries, and the incredible stories that shaped our world. There are many more secrets waiting to be uncovered.